Good evening. My name is Robin Godfrey. I am the General Manager of GALA Choruses. Also with us this evening is Amy Blaine from Visit Denver, who will be talking us through how the online housing system works. Just a moment on webinar protocol. We will have up to about 20 people on the line. So if you are for any reason in a location where there is background noise, please mute your phone so that we are not listening to your background noise. Other than that, we will try to take questions in an orderly fashion as you have them. I would prefer to do that than to have you typing in questions. But if we find that we just can't keep track, then we'll go to written questions. But let's start out trying to take questions just by having you ask. So with that, let me pass it to Amy, and she will start to take us through how the housing system works. The first part of the call we are going to dedicate to questions related to those who are going to be trying to book a group, as opposed to having your singers go in and book their housing individually. We'll get to individual housing questions a little later in the evening, but I want to make sure we get the group questions taken care of first. And with that, Amy, take it away.
Okay. Hi, my name is Amy. And as Robin said, if you have not muted your phone, please do so. I know I'm getting several echoes in my ear. It's hard to hear. But I am in Denver, and my staff and I will be monitoring and handling the housing. But as it states on the screen, hopefully you all have the screen that has sort of a revolving pictures of Denver, says GALA Choruses Festival, all kinds of notes and things are on there, but it says the only way to book your initial reservation when housing does open is you do have to book online on this screen, and this screen will be on the galachoruses.org website. So I'll just start with if anyone has any questions, if you want me to just kind of go through how you find an available hotel on the screen, I can certainly do that. Just let me know what you want me to start with.
Why don't you go ahead and start down that path, because that's something everybody's going to need to know how to do. Okay.
All right. There is, on the left side of the screen, where it has search for hotel rooms, and then it's got the blank fields for check-in and check-out. Those are when whether you're booking one room or you are wanting a block of rooms. Either way, you just start with whatever your check-in date is. And I'll just select July 6th just as an example. And say you're going to check out on July 11th. What we found for most people, the calendar option, by clicking on the calendar on the right, is the easiest. People often forget. I still am typing in 2011 as the year, so if you tried to type in 7/6/11 or even 7/6/12, it's very particular about how it has to be typed in, as it says under there. You can only book one room at a time. If you click on rooms, it just gives you one as a choice. All of the downtown Denver hotels, the maximum number of guests, which is basically adults, the maximum number of adults in any room in any of the hotels is 4. There's a 5+ there just because our system has that as a default, but you would pick 1, 2, 3, or 4 depending on how many people are going to be in your room.
Okay, I'm having a little trouble dealing with conversations going on in both ears here. Okay.
Okay. So then you hit the search button, and any hotels for those dates that you put in will pop up as available. think they pretty much always pop up alphabetical order. There's generally, I know right now with Housing Open, it goes, you've got 2 pages of hotels. You can see at the bottom of this page, if we get down there, it'll say page 1, page 2, which page you're on. But you can, if you say you want a hotel that's closest to the Performing Arts Complex, where the festival is going to be, you can ask it to sort by distance. Here, you can sort by price, rate of the rooms if you want a lower rate, you want a nicer hotel, or right now it's sorting by name. So then you just look at these hotels. There's all kinds of information. There's pictures, descriptions, all kinds of information on all of them. So you can distance from it says GALA Courses Festival, which is at the Denver Performing Arts Complex here in downtown Denver. So that's how many blocks it is from where the festival is going to be. And that's the address of the hotel. So just to make it easy, say we are interested in the Crown Plaza Hotel. They selected that as your hotel. You just go over to the right, hit the green select button across from that hotel. Then the room types will pop up. So if you know that your rooms, whether all of them or some of them need 2 beds, you're going to want to make sure that something pops up that says either standard double-double, like it says here for the Crown Plaza. Some hotels, their 2-bedded rooms are queens, so it'll say standard queen-queen. It'll always repeat the bed type. If there's 1 of them, it'll just say king. If there's 2 of those beds in the room, it'll always have the name twice, so double-double or queen-queen. And there's always descriptions underneath, so you can see where it says rooms include 2 double beds, whereas for the standard king it says rooms include 1 king-size bed. So you want, say you want double-doubles, you want a room with 2 beds, and you hit select there across from that bed type. And then it's basically just saying these are the dates you selected, which are the nights you're going to stay. We had put in check-in 7/6, check-out 7/11. You're not staying on the night of 7/11. You're checking out on July 11th. So this is just reconfirming you're going to stay Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and you'll check out on Wednesday. So generally you don't have to do anything with that unless you've changed your mind in that last couple seconds. And you say, yep, that's fine. Hit book. Just a second. I don't know. Mouse is really slow here. Then you just start filling in your guest information. And Robin, do you want me to just go all the way through this as well?
Yeah, let me try to get rid of some of the background noise here. Folks, you really have to mute if you are in a setting that is noisy. If you're connected by phone, mute your phone. If you're connecting through the speakers on your computer, hit the audio drop down on that you should see on your screen and mute your computer, but nobody can hear with all that background noise. Okay, Amy, go ahead.
Okay. So then what we always tell people, if you're booking a block of rooms, you're starting out by just booking the first room is how you're going to start the process. But if you are the contact person or whoever the contact person is going to be to give us all the names for these rooms, just if you're the contact person, put your name as a guest. We can sort out later, which room you're actually going to be in or if you're sharing with someone or something. But I'll just put in John as the first name and Doe as the last name. Can skip through. It will help out in the future if for company name you put in your chorus name. You know, it's not required, but if we're trying to pull up reservations by chorus, that will help us later on. And just all your address information. The state is a drop-down list. Select your state. Give us a daytime phone number if we need to reach you, although we generally do everything by email, but just in case. Oh, come on. Email, as you can see, is required. All the acknowledgments that are sent, once a room is booked, you'll get an acknowledgment via email. If there's ever a change made to a reservation, you'll get a modified acknowledgment via email. If a room is canceled, you'll get a cancellation via email. Everything is email. I'll put in, this is our housing. Oh, doesn't like to type as fast as I do. Come on. We don't really have anything set up at this point for notifications about upcoming specials or promotions. We don't generally do that. Usually we try not to bother you. If you booked a hotel room, that's all you want information on is your reservation, which the acknowledgement takes care of. So you don't need to worry about checking that box. The additional request field is where you can just free-form type anything. Know that sometimes people put in here that questions for us. We don't see, you know, if we actually go into your reservation, we'll see where you have requests or questions, but you need to email us separately if you've got any questions. This is just part of the reservation that will later on get turned over to the hotel, but this is for, you know, request high floor, something to pass on to the hotel is generally what that's for. If you need a handicapped disabled room, you click on that. If you know that with this hotel there's a rewards program and you have a rewards card for it, let me see if Comfort Inn, yeah, so Comfort Inn has a priority club rewards. You can click on that and then it'll ask you for your priority club reward number. That just gets sent to the hotel when that time comes. You want to see room policies are here. This will just confirm what the room rates are, how much the tax percentage is. All of the Denver hotels that GALA Courses is contracted are all in downtown Denver. They all have the same tax percentage, which is 14.85%, is not included in the rates that are quoted, so that would have to be added on to the rates. The rates at every hotel are based on the number of adults in the room. Doesn't matter how many beds there are. Doesn't matter how many rooms you have. If this hotel just happens to have the same rate, whether there's 1, 2, 3, or 4 people in the room. So the Comfort Inn, the rate for any room is $164 plus that tax per night. The only cancel policy in place isn't until 72 hours prior to your arrival, which is basically 3 days. If you cancel the reservation 72 hours prior or less, the hotel will charge a one-night room and tax cancellation fee. But anytime before that, you can cancel your room, make changes to your room without any kind of charge or fee. So then you just go to payment details. And this is where, let's see, put in. Not sure, Robin. I had tested this before, and I can't remember if it'll.
Let you put a fake card number in?
Yeah, I used to have one that worked, and it doesn't work anymore.
Okay. That's all right. I think people generally get the drift of filling in their card number.
Okay. Yeah, as you put your card in, because it won't take me any further than that, but you put your card in, the expiration date, the year. The credit card has to be good at least through July of 2012. The system won't take it. Say you have a credit card that is expiring in March of this year, it won't take that, but if you know that you're still going to have that, as far as you know, you'll still have that same credit card and it'll re-up for another year. What I tell people is if you know the credit card will still be good, just put in March of 2013, which will be enough to make sure it's effective through July of 2012. And then you can review your information, and it gives you one last chance to review everything, change everything, and then it goes to, let me see if it will. I think if I proceed, yeah, it'll say, if you ever don't fill in anything, it'll tell you in red. But the last page, after your review, will just say, you have to hit submit, I think it's a submit button. And then the system will give you a acknowledgement number, and it'll tell you that your reservation has been successful. And then you will get an acknowledgement via email for your reservation. And let's see if we can go back to the first page. So you started out the process by booking one room at the hotel that you want with the number of beds in the room that you want. Because anything that pops up is only what's available for your dates. So you'll get that emailed acknowledgement in whatever email address you gave us when you filled that field in. And you'll see we'll go back to the first page. We've got nice instructions written in red. Get back there. Okay. This is the page we first started on. Down below here, it just reconfirms you can't book your reservation over the phone. Ooh. If you need a block of rooms, you book one room online, which we just did. Then you'll get that emailed acknowledgement in your email. You'll forward that email to us at housing@visitdenver.com and just say, I just booked one room for the GALA courses. I need a block of 20 rooms. And then you want to make sure you tell us, out of those 20 rooms, 10 of those rooms need one bed, 10 of those rooms need two. Or all 20 rooms need two beds. All that information we need to get. And what GALA Courses asked us to also put on there is the reservation that you booked online. We will understand that to be your first hotel choice. But in case you need a large block of rooms, say you need, 50 rooms, or I'm not sure, Robin, how big they get, but 50 rooms, 75 rooms. If the hotel that you selected that had one room available, if that's not available, we will need to know when you email us what your second and third hotel choices are. So we can very quickly, when housing opens, we can get you into a hotel. If we don't have 50 double-doubles in the Comfort Inn, the hotel that you booked, we'll know, well, my second choice is the Crowne Plaza, and my third choice is, the Hyatt Regency, and we'll see which of those hotels in order of your preference we have available, and we'll get you booked. So what we do is we take that acknowledgement that reservation that you just booked online for the one room, and we'll change that to whatever block you need. If you need 50 rooms, we'll change that. Instead of the acknowledgement you initially got that says number of rooms equal 1, you'll get a modified acknowledgement, and it will say number of rooms equal 50, or whatever your block is. So you'll know, great, I now have my 50 rooms. you're good to go. We know when whatever day housing opens. I know Robin has told us it gets pretty busy and pretty crazy, and we will be ready to go. So we will be responding to your emails very quickly. The response time to you will be slower if you don't let us know the total number of rooms you need, or you don't let us know how many of those rooms need 1 bed versus 2, or you don't let us know your second and third choices if your first choice is sold out. We'll have to just email you back, and then it's basically first come, first serve as requests come in. But it's first come, first serve as long as we have all the information we need from you.
Amy, we've got a question that someone has typed in. Are the acknowledgments and communications from the hotel directly from the travel company or from GALA?
They are from us.
They're from Visit Denver, aren't they?
They're from Visit Denver, but the acknowledgments will say GALA Chorus's Housing Bureau Denver. It's a computer that sends out the acknowledgement, so it's kind of a computerized thing. But the from field in the acknowledgments will say GALA Chorus's Housing Bureau Denver.
Okay. Thank you.
Good question. Let's see. So I think that, so once you book the room online, as it says in there on the last line of the red, don't call us to request your block. We've got to have that via email, because you're forwarding your acknowledgement that you booked. We'll know who you are, what your acknowledgement number is, what hotel you booked it at. It's that emailed acknowledgement that you're going to forward to us that's going to be key to accessing your initial reservation to make your block.
We have another question. Can I pay online with my hotel points from the hotel's reward program?
You know, I just had a question about that the other day. Unfortunately, all the hotels have different reward programs, and they're all different. But from the hotel people that I've talked to, generally, at least the big chains, from what I understand, you cannot pay with your points. Now, if you know that to be different for your particular hotel chain that you frequent, that would be something that you'd probably take care of at checkout. But all the hotels will require that you to bring your credit card or some form of payment when you check in to get into your room.
Okay.
But Hyatts and Marriotts and Comfort Inns, everyone has different programs, and I just have no way of knowing all the different details about them. But the credit card you give when you book the reservation, a one-night deposit is charged immediately to the card, and then you pay the balance to the hotel. So make sure if you or anyone in your choruses are booking, that make sure they're not just booking willy-nilly a bunch of rooms just to get reservations out there, because the credit card used will be charged for the one night pretty immediately.
We have another very practical question on the related to people who are booking blocks. If people in your block are arriving and departing on different dates, how are the choruses to convey that information to you when they forward the acknowledgement back? How do they go about telling you that?
Well, the first thing, we know that not everyone's going to check in and check out on the same dates. That will be something you will communicate to us when you send us your rooming list. And we haven't gotten to that, but when you book your reservation, what we tell people, just book the main dates. You know, if most people are going to come in on the 6th and leave on the 11th, or come in on the, whatever the dates are, that's what I would book. But say a couple people are coming in a day or two early or staying a day or two later, you don't need to worry about those couple of rooms until you already have your block booked. And then this was the next thing I was going to say, which will lead right into it, is after you've booked your one reservation, you emailed us, told us what all the information we need, we booked your block, sent you a modified email back saying now you have a block of 50 rooms. You will need to email us a rooming list which has individual names for each room, and at that time is where you can say, room number 1 is John Smith. He's going to check in on the 5th, check out on the 10th. Room 2 is so-and-so those dates. So that's when you'll let us know. You know, if someone's coming in a little bit earlier than others or leaving a little bit later, we'll take care of that when we're making your block of 50 into 50 individual reservations after you send us those names. And those rooming lists are due 2 business days after your block has been booked. So if you went online, booked your first reservation on a Monday, and you emailed us right away, we made it into a block of 50 on that Monday. We will need to have the list of names and dates, anything different for each of your rooms. If some of your rooms need 1 bed, some need 2 beds, we'll need to know which rooms need 1, which rooms need 2. We'll need to get that list from you by the end of business on Wednesday, so 2 business days later.
The reasoning for that is coming from our side. We don't want huge quantities of rooms being held out of inventory, hence making them unavailable to anybody else who's trying to book housing. So that relatively quick turnaround time has been set so that everybody has a fair opportunity to have access to rooms, and we don't have big blocks of rooms pulled out and then just sitting there. The question for a block of rooms, how many rooms will be charged to the credit card for the one-night charge?
That is when you initially book the 1 room, it's just the 1 room will be charged. Then when we make it into a block, I believe, Robin, you had said you want each room, the one-night room and tax will be charged per room in the block. So it'll start out with 1 room charge, but then if you have a block of 50 rooms, there'll be 50 one-room and tax charged to the card, which again is to make sure that you're only booking how many rooms you think you need. If you know you only need 30, don't book 50 because you're going to be paying the one-night deposit on 50.
Okay, we've got a question that says, it sounds like we're describing processes that can take place prior to what's been announced as the official opening of housing. When are we able to start submitting reservations through this housing portal? It all opens at exactly the same time. There is nothing that can be done before housing officially opens. So it's important for people to understand that if you choose to try to do a group reservation, so you're going to go in and book 1 room, you're going to get your acknowledgement, you're going to forward that back saying, I really need 20 rooms or whatever it is you need. Everyone else booking housing is going to be booking at the same time that that's transpiring. So just understand that the world is not going to stand still while your room block request is being processed. There will be people in there booking individual reservations. So just be aware that there is nothing that can happen ahead of time. Everything happens at exactly the same time.
And this link won't be up and live on the GALA website until the day that housing opens.
Okay, I think we've answered this one question. If I book a block of 50 rooms, does my credit card get charged one night for all 50 rooms, or can that be broken out when we send our rooming list? So if they send you multiple, can they send you multiple credit cards to be hit when they, yeah. Okay, let's just work with yes, you can do that.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So yes, if you want the one-night reservation charged to a specific credit card number, then you're going to have to provide that credit card number with your rooming list.
Yes.
Okay. Let me see what else we've got here. When does housing open? Okay, that brings up, we had originally set it up in the announcement to open January 9th. I've had a couple of choruses express concern that that does not leave them sufficient time to train their people on the use of the online housing system, given that we are heading rapidly into the midst of everyone's holiday concert season. So I'm going to, if I can figure out how to do this managed, I'm going to launch a poll here, and you will see a question on your screen about, do you want to push the opening of housing back? So while the poll is open, I don't think you can see anything on your screens, but we'll get a very quick vote as quickly as you can. The question is just, do you want us to push the opening of housing back so that you have more time to train your singers on how to use the system? Okay, 95% of you have voted. It's 70% yes, push it back, 30% no. So we will push it back, and I'll work with Amy to find exactly what date we're going to move it back to, and we will announce that then by e-blast. Go back to questions here and see what else we may have. Okay, we're clear on typed questions at this point. Anybody have any other questions specifically related to the process of booking a block of rooms that they want to ask?
This is Sharon from West Coast Singers.
Yes.
Hi. Does this block of room procedure apply to the Curtis that has those dorms available?
No. The dormitory rooms we're going to do as a lottery before we open housing.
Okay.
So
okay.
Since we have so few of them, we're just going to, we'll do an e-blast asking the festival liaisons to simply respond, yes, my chorus is interested in one of the dorm rooms, and then we'll put all those names in a hat and draw as many names as we have dorm rooms available.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll let you know whether or not you got one before housing opens.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Yes, we can email out the summary of steps to book group reservations highlighted in red on the screen. Yes, we can do that. The room prices listed on the GALA website, the actual contract prices with the hotels, yes, they are. They should match what you find when you open, when the day comes that housing opens and you go into the system Amy's been showing us, you should find the same hotel room prices that you see on the chart on the GALA website.
Mm-hmm.
let's come back to the process for individuals to make reservations. Amy, are there any particular quirks to individuals making registrations?
No. The step-by-step, how you, even if someone wants a block, how you go in and book one room online is the exact same thing. If you just need to book a room, one room for yourself or one room for someone, that's all you do is just book the one, and then you're done. You'll get the emailed acknowledgement. If, say, you don't need a big block of rooms, you just need 2 rooms, you'd have to just go through the process twice. So on this screen, you'll put your dates in, hit the search button, pick your hotel, put your information in. So if the first room is for yourself, just make sure you're always putting in the name that each room will be booked under. So if you book the first room for yourself, you're John Doe, make sure you put your information in. Then what you don't want to do, you don't want to hit the back button. You want to go basically out of the screen, go back to the GALA Courses website, and go back into this online housing link, which will take you to this page. We have found that people will finish the reservation, then they'll hit the back arrow button, back. They end up in the same, it looks like you've got a blank screen to put your guest information in, but you're actually changing the first reservation you already booked. So you booked the first reservation under John Doe. If you hit the back arrow button and then you change it to Jane Smith, you're actually changing the first room, the name on the first room, instead of booking a second room. You just want to go out. The back button will mess you up in this system. So just go all the way out and go back in to the website.
All right.
That makes sense.
We've had a few people join us along the way here, so I want to clear a few more questions here, and then we'll have Amy take us back through that initial set of just through how you get the drop down of the hotels that are available based on the dates you're asking for. We'll go back through that first couple of steps over again here in just a couple of minutes. Question, have rooms been blocked for the night of Friday, July 6th? We're working on that. When we originally set up the contracts, we weren't aware that we were going to have techs happening or Q2Qs happening on Friday. So
and actually it's Thursday the 5th that they're getting more rooms.
Okay.
The 6th was the first night that rooms were contracted Friday.
Okay. So the 6th is already in the system. We are working on getting some rooms into the system for the 5th.
For Thursday the 5th.
Right, for those who have a need to be in even earlier. Yeah.
And if you need even earlier than that, being over 4th of July, hotels will not have a problem with that. We would just have to get a couple rooms from the hotel, but we can handle, that would just be something you'd put in your rooming list. You know, I need one room to arrive on July 4th, and we'll take care of it.
Question, is there a procedure sheet to explain the process that we can distribute to our group? Yes, we can create something, and I will make myself a note to do that.
Yeah, kind of basically those instructions in red for the most part. But
if you're doing a block, I think this particular question was just for an individual singer. Is there something that we can provide?
Just besides just the screens. Okay.
Right.
Okay. And one thing I will
have a chance to look at those screens before housing actually opens.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, and what we generally tell people is the main thing, you know, everyone, you've got your name and your email and your address, is just make sure you've got your credit card ready when you're booking. That's the one thing that slows people down. And the system will, because there's personal information in there, a lot of banking systems and credit card systems do the same thing. If you're in this system and you pause, you get a phone call, or you're trying to find your credit card, after a certain amount of time, it will time you out because it's afraid that you've forgotten or you've left the
Right.
room, and so you'll get your session is timed out session, and if you didn't finish your reservation, you'll have to go back in and start all over, because it doesn't save information for security reasons if you don't finish the reservation.
Another question, for planning purposes, on whatever day housing actually opens, do you know what time of day housing will likely open? Yeah, I think we had talked about 9 Mountain Time. So 11 Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, 8 Pacific.
Yeah.
Will there be a centralized way to access information on the hotels to prioritize selections prior to the booking date? There is information now on the GALA website on the hotels, the hotel prices, the hotel listing. All the hotel names are hyperlinks out to the hotel websites. So they're, people are free to go onto the GALA website and begin perusing hotel information anytime they want. I see a link, already have a reservation. How do you modify an existing reservation for an individual or for a group booked block? Amy, that's definitely yours.
That is me. If there's 2 answers to that question. If you just have one individual room reservation, you'll see on this screen here when you first go, you go back to the GALA Courses website, click on the online link, you'll see this green button here, already have a reservation. This is where you go. Basically, if you just have one room and you want to change the date, or you want to change the name or something, you'll need the acknowledgement number, which is the number you'll be getting when you book the reservation, and the last name the reservation is booked under. And then you just hit Show Reservation. It'll pull up your reservation and you can make changes. If you have a block of rooms and you need to make changes to the block, you will want to email us at our email address, which is here, housing@visitdenver.com. And you'll want to email us and say, I have a block of rooms for the GALA courses, my name is, my acknowledgement number for my block is, or whatever reservation in question you have. We always need acknowledgement number and the name on the room, and we can make changes for block. So individual reservations, you can do it online. You can email us to make changes for individuals. But for blocks, you will want to email us, because if you want to add more rooms or decrease the number of rooms or change a check-in date for a block, that isn't for just one room. If the whole block is going to come in a day earlier and you've got a block of 50 rooms, we're going to have to make sure we've got 50 rooms on that earlier date. And so that's something we'll have to take care of for you, but we'll let you know.
Now, how does that change after you release data to the individual hotels?
All of the reservations will be in our system through us until the evening of June 28th.
Okay, so it's very late before.
Very late.
Okay.
So up until and through June 28th, everything has to come through us. All the reservations are only in our system. After June 28th, the hotels start to download the reservations from our system to their system. Some hotels, it's very quick. Some hotels will go in the morning of June 29th, hit a button, and they have all the GALA courses reservations in their system. Other hotels, it might take them a day or two if they have to download a different way. But basically, and that information will be on the acknowledgments you'll get from us after you've booked rooms. It'll say, go through us through June 28th. After June 28th, you'll call your hotel directly. And all the hotel information will be on there.
Are the cancellation policies different at the different hotels, or is it 72 hours for all of them?
72 hours for all.
Can you say again where you would put in a request to add another date, such as July 4th, to a reservation?
To an individual reservation or to a block?
Well, let's just cover both.
Okay. Individual reservation, you would click on this already have a reservation button. And then you have to put in the acknowledgement number for that reservation and the last name it's booked. And then you hit show reservation, and it'll pull up your reservation, and you are basically changing it online yourself. If it's a block of rooms, or if you just don't want to mess with it online, you want to change your one reservation or your block, send us an email at housing@visitdenver.com and just tell us what you need to do. And like I said, anytime a reservation is changed, you'll get a modified acknowledgement via email. Two things, anyone who wants a block and is going to send us a rooming list for that block, the 2 business days after your block is booked. We always tell people, if you're the contact person, only give us your email address. We have people who have a block of 20 rooms. They give us all the individual email addresses for all 20 people, and then they've lost control of, then they don't get any more acknowledgments except their own. So you're John Doe, give us your email address for everything. If you want to make sure you've got all your acknowledgments, you can make changes, you have acknowledgement numbers for the individual reservations, just give us your email at all times and you'll get everything. You can forward the acknowledgments to your people once your individual reservations are booked, but you still want to keep your email in the email field, otherwise you stop getting anything from us. The other thing, if when you are booking a block, we've booked your block, you're sending us a rooming list, make sure you don't put on there room 1 should be John Doe, room 2 John Doe, room 3 John Doe. We have to have individual names. And that's the same for people that are, if you're going in and just booking 2 individual reservations one at a time, or 3 rooms one at a time, don't book them all under the same name. As housing's open, we have a way to duplicate reservations. If there's 4 rooms that are booked under John Doe out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it's got the same email and the same credit card, we will cancel all but one of them automatically. That's why the block is important. If you want a block of 3 rooms and you won't have the names till later, that's when you book the 1 room and then email us and request a block.
But you've still only got 2 business days or so to turn in that rooming list. So you don't have months to figure out who's going to be in these rooms.
Right.
Good question. I'd like to extend my stay, come early. What are the dates the GALA rates are in effect? We have a 3-day pre and post. Now, can they book pre and post through here?
I know there'll be rooms as early as July 5th. Right now, I think most of the hotels, there's rooms loaded for the night of the 12th, which means you can book online to check out on the 13th.
Okay.
If anybody needs later than that, we would have to check with the hotel on availability. But we can always do that. So if they want to book something that's outside of the dates that the system will let them book, they send you an email? If they're booking their room and say they're coming in the 6th, but they want to check out on July 14th, what'll happen, in fact, I'll do it right here. So say, okay, I'm online, I want to book my room. I'm coming in on Friday the 6th. I'm not even sure yet. I can't. I want to check out on Saturday the 14th. I'll have to see. I don't think. And you hit the search button for those dates. It will tell you this. No lodging matches your search criteria. Basically, we just don't have rooms loaded that late. It doesn't mean you can't get them. But we suggest to people, okay, it's probably this late date. This is 3 days after the festival. Maybe there just aren't rooms that late. What I tell people is just pick a shorter date, pick the 12th or something, hit search again, then the hotels will pop up. And that's when, go ahead and book, because particularly the day housing opens, things are going to fill up fast. Get your room booked. It's the main dates that are going to sell out. The shoulder nights, the night of the 11th, 12th, 13th, the night of the 5th, 6th probably aren't going to be as heavy. We can always get rooms. As long as the hotel has rooms those nights, we can get some, and we'll change your reservation. So you would go ahead and book for in the 6th out the 12th at whatever hotel you want to be at. You'll get your emailed acknowledgement from our system. Forward that acknowledgement and say, hey, I just booked this reservation in the 12th, but I really want to check out on the 14th. Can you please help me? And we'll take care of it for you. If for some reason the hotel's sold out on the night of the 13th, we'll let you know, and we'll go figure out what you want to do from there. But at least you've got your main reservation, main dates booked.
Once someone has made a reservation for a room, paid the one night, but has to cancel, will they receive a full refund? And I believe that's as long as it's prior to 72 hours, right?
Correct.
Okay. Are there any amenities listed on the hotel website that are not included in the contracted GALA price, like comp breakfast, etc.? Yes, we will get the rest of that information up onto the GALA Chorus's website pronto that will show you things like for some of the hotels, like the one that Amy had shown, a single, double, triple, quad were all the same rate. For some of the hotels, that's not true. Triple and quad may be $10 more. For some of the hotels, breakfast is included. So we will get that information to you up on the GALA website, so people will have that to look at before this system opens. Once a rooming list has been sent and all rooms have been confirmed for the correct dates, will Visit Denver send us your version of the rooming list so we can check it for accuracy?
You basically will get individual acknowledgments.
So they've submitted a rooming list to you, and then at that point, they're going to start getting back acknowledgments by person?
By room. Yeah.
By room, okay.
So they've got a block of 20 rooms, say at the Comfort Inn, and they have the one acknowledgment that says number of rooms is 20. Within 2 business days, they send us the names and dates for each of those 20 rooms.
Right.
Once we go in, it won't be immediate. We're going to make sure we have all the lists, and then we'll start, after housing's open, we've got everybody's blocks booked, then we'll start processing the list. But we do have to receive them within 2 business days. It'll probably be a little delay before we actually process them. But say we've got your list of 20 names, or however, if there's 2 people per room, it'll be the names for 20 rooms. As we start taking your block and making it into individual reservations, 20 individual reservations, as we're booking each room, you get that acknowledgement. It's automatic.
And the email address that will go to, and I think that's the point you were speaking to earlier,
would be
if whoever's coordinating housing for the chorus wants all of those individual room confirmations to go to them, then they need to just leave everything under their one email address?
Right. And then they will just start getting individual acknowledgments. They'll get John Doe's acknowledgement number for one room. They'll get, Steve Smith's acknowledgement for the next room.
And then they can forward it on to Steve Smith after they've checked it against their notes and made sure that it's right.
Correct.
Okay. When booking blocks and sending in the rooming list, what personal information needs to be included in the rooming list? Names, addresses, credit card numbers, expiration dates?
Only anything that's different from the information you put in the initial reservation you booked online. If you gave your email, you gave your address, it's your credit card, if that's all going to be the same, I don't need individual mailing addresses because nothing gets mailed. Again, you want to leave the email address as yours so you get everything from us. But probably the main thing, dates, if the dates are different, room number 1 has 3 people in it, just make sure you give us all 3 names. If you only know 2 of them, you can add the third name to that room later. If you want each person the deposit to be charged for their room on their credit card, we will need all of their credit card information. Credit card type, credit card number, expiration date, and name on the card. We don't need that code on the back.
You don't need the code?
We do not.
Okay. All right. How quickly will group requests be processed?
initial request for the block?
Yeah, let's take it through both. So you booked your one room, you got your acknowledgement back, you sent the email saying I need 50 double-bedded rooms. In what time frame will that be processed?
What we do, generally the day housing opens, as Robin has warned us, it's pretty busy. We will be completely staffed up here unless we're here in Denver, so we're Mountain Time. We're generally open till 4:30. Unless you'll hear from us that day, unless you've emailed us right at the end of the day. But
okay, now let's walk it forward. I got your response saying, okay, I've got my 50 rooms. Now I've got 2 business days to get you my rooming list. And I think this is where you were saying, don't panic. It may be a little bit before you get back, before you start seeing those individual room acknowledgments. Because you guys, your first priority is going to be processing block requests so that we get people's stuff blocked out. Once that slows down, then you will turn to turning that block of 50 into individual room reservations for John Doe and Jane Smith.
Right. And what we'll do because you'll be emailing us the rooming list, is say, you've got your block, you booked the one room, and we booked it into a block on Tuesday. Then Wednesday you emailed us your rooming list. We will probably that day or possibly the next day, just depending on how close we are to when housing opened, because from what Robin has said, the day housing opens is crazy, and then it starts to subside a little bit as you go. But we will shoot you an email back. It may just be thank you for your list, or we've got it, we've received it, thank you. So you'll know we have it. It might be a week before you start getting your individual acknowledgments.
Is there a listing showing how many rooms are in each block for each hotel? I am 99% sure that's on the GALA website, where we have the listing of the hotels. I'm pretty sure I have the number of rooms we have in that block. If we don't, I'll add it.
Yeah, I think it is already there. I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure it's there. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. How robust is the system and servers that support this? I keep hearing the day housing opens is crazy. Can your systems handle 300 to 500 or more requests that might come in during that first couple of hours?
Yes. We do this same kind of opening for a show that comes here to Denver every year. And we have hundreds of requests, people booking rooms, individual rooms. We're booking it, making them into blocks. Hundreds of them. We've done the show for 4 years now, never had a problem.
Okay. And just so folks are aware, we are by far not the largest group that comes to Denver.
Pretty good size, though. Definitely a
busy housing. It is, but you guys
opening,
do these things for 10,000 people and more.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, my screen says we are clear on questions as of the moment. Amy, how about just for those who joined a little later, walking us just back through those screens at the very beginning about how an individual books a room.
Okay. All right, let me get back to this page. So on when the day housing opens, you'll go on the galacourses.org website, and there'll be a link somewhere on there saying online housing, click here, or however they're going to state that. When you click on that, it'll take you to this page. you can kind of see there's 3 sections basically. Some pictures of Denver scrolling through. It says GALA courses, festival, where the festival is at, and just some information, our contact information. If you have questions, you can contact us here at housing@visitdenver.com. There is our phone number as well. Again, you cannot email or call to book a reservation. To book your initial reservation, whether you just need 1 room, whether you need a block of 50 rooms, you're going to have to be on this page, and you're going to start by checking to see what hotels are available for your dates. So we'll need to know what your check-in date is. So to the right of check-in, I always tell people the easiest way is just use the little pop-up calendar option. You can see what day of the week it is. You can make sure, you have written down, I'm checking in Friday the 5th. Oh, wait, Friday is actually July 6th. So you just make sure you're booking it accurately from the start. So you select Friday the 6th. Come on. I think it pauses when I move my mouse.
What date do you want it to check out?
Friday, check in the 6th, check out the 11th. Oh, maybe it's you. That's
yeah, I can. Just talk me through what
okay.
you want, and I can.
So check out on Wednesday the 11th.
Okay, we got that.
Okay. And then, okay, still stuck on my screen. But below that, it says number of rooms. You can only book 1 room at a time online. So you can click the drop-down menu, but it'll only give you 1 room. It has a multiple room search on here. It's something that they can't take that off because there's some groups that have that. It's nothing that I do housing for, but you 1 room, number of guests in that room, and then you hit the search button, which Robin did, and now the available hotels will pop up. And for those that weren't here earlier, you can sort these hotels. They pretty much come up in alphabetical order to start with. But say you want to see what hotels are closest to the Denver Performing Arts Complex, which is where the festival is taking place. It will pull up. Let's see, my screen is stuck here. It'll pull up. There's several hotels that are just 1 block. A couple of these are actually across the street, but there's no way to make it less than 1 block.
Right.
But close enough. So the closest hotels will be first, and then they go farther out and farther out. And for anyone not familiar with Denver, our blocks are very short blocks. I have been to other cities where someone says, oh, just walk there, it's 3 blocks, and it takes you 15 minutes to get there. Denver, our downtown Denver blocks are very short. So if you're looking at a hotel and you're like, wow, that hotel is 5 blocks away versus 1 or 2 blocks. I'm right in downtown Denver. I work here, so I'm walking downtown all the time. 5 blocks will take maybe 6 or 7 minutes, and that's if you have to wait at the red lights. So they're all very close. All the hotels that GALA courses contracted are very close. So say you are interested in Hyatt Regency. Let's see. Will it let you scroll down there, Robin? Yeah. So you want the Hyatt Regency. Gives you all the information. You can, all this drop-down stuff you can look at if you want. But so you want that hotel, you hit the green select button. So for that hotel, for the Hyatt Regency, then the room types within that hotel will pop up. So it'll say standard double-double. If it pops up, it's available. Because, again, you're just booking for 1 room right now. So there's at least 1 room available for your date. So standard double-double is a room with 2 beds. If you know you need a room with 2 beds, the way we have these loaded in any hotel, it'll always have the bed name twice if there's 2 of them. So if Hyatt Regency has rooms with 2 double beds, it's always called a double-double. Other hotels have rooms with 2 queen beds, that'll always be called a queen-queen. Down below here at the Hyatt, a standard king is just 1 king bed. So if you know you need a room, or eventually you're going to need a block of rooms with 2 beds, make sure you don't select standard king, because you're only picking a room with 1 king bed. That's not going to work for you. And if that's the reservation we're starting off on to book your block, we've got a problem right from the beginning. So you know you want 2 double beds at the Hyatt, hit select next to that room type. And then and trust me, when we're really live online, it does go faster than this, much faster. So this screen is just confirming, is just telling you, okay, you put in here to the left, you initially put in checking in July 6th, checking out on the 11th, which is a total of 5 nights. You put, there's 1 guest in the room. Here to the right is just confirming. If you're checking in the 6th and checking out the 11th, you're staying 5 nights, the night of the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. You're not staying the 11th, you're checking out on the 11th. So it's giving you an opportunity to fix it. If you're like, oh, I didn't want to check out on the 11th, I want to check out on the 12th, you can fix it here. But if you entered your dates correctly the first time, then you just go down below to the bottom, and I think it says, yeah. So you just say, okay, yep, everything's fine there. You hit the green book button. And now it's just asking for the guest information.
Yeah, and you can,
So
I think people understand how that works.
Yeah.
And then there's another screen that asks you for the payment information.
Right, right. And this, on this screen here, you put your guest information, you put in your address, your phone number, email. Again, email is how our system will send you acknowledgments. Everything is email. So that's why email is very important there. And if you are the contact person, make sure you put in your own email address. It doesn't matter that the guest, if you're booking a couple of rooms and the guest is John Smith, but you're Jane Doe, we don't have to have John Smith's email. We can. It doesn't matter whose email is on there. It doesn't have to match the guest's name. Just give us yours if you're the one who wants to receive everything. And down below where it has additional requests, it's just a free form field where you can type in things. But do be aware that we don't see this field on a regular basis. It's not anything that comes to us. So don't put questions in here to us. You'll need to email us a separate email if you have any questions or need to make a change. These requests are basically for the hotel room. You know, I request a higher floor, or I want to be away from the elevator or something. That's what you want to type in there. We don't get that information. That's just part of each reservation in the system. We don't see it unless we're pulling up the reservation on purpose to look. But at the end, when you put in all your information, it asks for your credit card. Again, the credit card, when you're booking the initial 1 room online, your credit card will be charged a 1-night room and tax deposit fairly quickly. But you put in your credit card information, and at the end, it'll say, and I forget exactly how it says you're not done yet. This is the review. You know, review this page. You can check everything, and then it'll say, you know, hit submit to process your reservation. And then when you've done that, it'll say your reservation has been booked successfully. This is your acknowledgement number. I always tell people write that number down, even though you'll get an email with all of that. Every time I do something online, I write that number down just in case. You never know if emails get blocked, if your system is set up with spam and you're not looking in your spam inbox or something. But that's pretty much it. That's how you book a reservation.
We have a new set of questions that come in. It
Okay.
comes with the requests of those of us who are not going to book blocks of rooms or being held hostage The block requests, can you address why the individual requests are not being handled first? Premise is not true. The system is live the moment it opens. You can go in and book an individual room the moment the system opens. Those who choose to block blocks are running the risk that what they want is being taken out of the system by people booking individual rooms. A block request can't be submitted until an individual room is requested, an acknowledgement comes back, then the individual defines what it is they want in their block and send that to the CVB. Then they will pull those rooms out of inventory and hold them for 2 business days pending receipt of a rooming list. There is no advantage to those who are, it's not like the system is opening early for those booking blocks of room. They are actually taking the risk that those who are booking individual rooms are pulling things out of inventory while their block request is being processed.
Right. This page where you are, where you book, you just want one room for yourself, you're booking it. As soon as the system says your reservation has been booked successfully, you're booked. This isn't a request that you all are emailing to us for us to put it in the system. You are booking your reservation live in the hotel you selected with the room type you selected, and as soon as it says your reservation is successful, you have a reservation in that hotel block.
Okay, we have a question that says, Standard King has only 1 bed but sleeps 3. Does that mean a sofa or pull out or roll away for that 3rd guest? I'm not sure.
Yeah, the hotels, we can request a rollaway bed in a room that just has 1 bed. The hotels don't have hundreds of those rollaway beds. So if you know your rooms need 2 beds, I would book a double-double or a queen-queen. But if you have a room, say you've booked 1 room for yourself with 1 king bed, and later on you decide you're going to have a roommate, you can request a rollaway. Now it is a request. If 75 people request a rollaway at, say, the Grand Hyatt, and the Grand Hyatt only has 40 rollaways, the first 40 people are only going to be the ones who get a rollaway. When you check in, if you're the 41st person to check in and request it, you won't get one. So there are rollaways. There just aren't hundreds of them at any hotel. And there is a charge for those as well. It'll up your rate usually by $10 or $15 because that's an extra fee to get the rollaway put up in your room.
Okay. If booking a block when sending in the rooming list, would we include the additional requests or add those later, like non-smoking?
It's a good question. Almost all of our downtown Denver hotels are non-smoking. Let me see if any, and this will be in the hotel descriptions, but at last check, the only 2 downtown Denver hotels that have any smoking rooms at all is the Grand Hyatt and the the Teatro Hotel. Both of those hotels, last I checked, have 1 floor of smoking rooms in their hotel. All of their other rooms are non-smoking. All of the other hotels are all non-smoking. So you don't generally need to put a request in for non-smoking because that's pretty much what everybody gets. It's really, these days, it's really a smoking request that you probably want to specify. And then again, you better make sure you're booked in a hotel that has smoking rooms because most of them do not.
Okay, for a group block, once individual reservations have been confirmed, can the group coordinator make individual date changes online, or must we email Visit Denver to make these changes?
You can do either way. If you want to go online and make the changes, you most certainly can. A lot of people prefer to do that. If you don't want to go into the 7 reservations you need to change and you want us to do it, we'll do it. Just email us. So either way, okay. Whatever your preference.
Okay, and we are caught up on questions again. There are, I think, several other of these sessions scheduled. We are recording this webinar, so if there are, if you want to go back and review it later, you can do that as well. Rick, did you have a question?
His dog, somebody's dog does.
Do I have Rick Fisher? Do you have an unanswered question, Rick? Okay. Are there requirements for individual rooms for all participants in the room to register with the hotel?
You will, before you check in, you'll want to make sure that anyone who wants to check into their room is listed as a guest. When you first book a room or you first send us your rooming list, if there's a few people you're not sure which room they're going to stay in, you know, they'll be the second guest or the third guest in the room, we can fix that later. But if John Doe goes to the Hyatt Regency to check in and the room is under Steve Smith only, but John Doe is supposed to be sharing that room with him, but his name is not listed as a guest, they will not check him into the room. So you want to make sure, you don't need to worry about it right off the bat, but if you want to make sure everyone's squared away and listed as a guest in their room so they can check in. Hotel will not check someone in if they're not a registered guest on the reservation.
Must you be registered for a festival in order to book a room? No, we are allowing, if there are spouses or friends or whoever that are attending and will be, rather than registering as delegates, will be purchasing individual tickets through the box office for the events that they want to attend, they are still welcome to book their housing through this online housing system. You do not have to be a delegate, a registered delegate, in order to book a room. For checkout, will payment go against the registered credit card, or will the hotel allow each individual guest to pay their share of the room?
The hotel will actually require that the guest pay the remaining balance of the room. The credit card used...
If somebody guaranteed the room on their credit card, but when it comes time to check out, there were 3 people sharing that room, and they want the hotel to break the charges into 3 pieces and charge a third to each of their credit cards, can they do that?
Yes. They will just need to be there with their credit cards. In fact, the hotels will generally ask you that when you check in.
Okay.
How you want the billing to be split, if it's split.
Okay. Just for the sake of the fact that all of these hotel desks get very busy during kind of primary check-in and check-out times, if you can ask your people not to show up until they have sorted out that bill that appears under your door the morning you're checking out and know how much they want on which credit card before they get to the front of that line, so they're not standing there taking up a space at the hotel front desk for a half hour working out what dollar amount of charges do they want on which credit card. It would make the people in line behind them much happier. Okay. From my side of things, it looks like we're caught up on questions again. If there's something it in because I'm not showing any open questions at this point. So kind of the things which will happen next. We have some additional information on the hotels to get posted up to the website. Things like, is there an additional charge for triple and quad? Does it include breakfast? Those sorts of things we will get up onto the website. We will create some kind of a instruction sheet that you can distribute to your singers that will deal with, kind of walk them through this online system. And we'll get that out to you. We will set the housing opening date for anyone who wasn't on the call at the time. The vote was push housing back towards the end of January, beginning of February, so that there's adequate time for you to train your singers on how to use the system. If any of your folks want to sit in on one of the later webinars, we're doing this 2 or 3 more times, and we also have it recorded, and we will post that recording. It's a Windows media file, so whoever's trying to watch it, they just need to be able to open a Windows media file. Do we have any other questions? Failing that, we will go ahead and close the webinar. We'll give it another minute or 2 and see if anything else shows up in the question box. We have a thank you. Thank you, Amy.
You're very welcome.
Okay, let me scroll down. We got a couple more coming in. When do you think you'll be sending out the announcement for what the new live date for housing is? Probably first thing after Thanksgiving, so Monday the 28th. All right, if other questions occur to you later, you can always email them to us at info@galachoruses.org. And if we don't know the answer, we will get the answer from Amy and get back to you. Thank you for joining us this evening. Oh, we've got one. Okay. Hopefully we got a lot of your questions answered, and you have lots more opportunities to the extent as you reflect on it you have additional questions. So thank you much for attending, and thank you, Amy, for joining us, and everyone have a terrific Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Robin.
You bet. Good night.
Good night.